Hey, so I was perusing the tubes and I came across a couple of videos, a couple of my favorite YouTubers talking about Pro Tools. Is it the industry standard? Was it ever the industry standard? Is it only for people who wear jean jackets? I will say that I use Pro Tools, and these are the reasons I use Pro Tools, but also these are the reasons why I may stop using Pro Tools in the future. And I'm gonna talk about all of the alternatives that I have been using. All right, so first off, let me tell you about my DAW history real quick so you can see how I got to this point. Before I do that, I wanna shout out Zounds. Anything you want for your studio, holla at Zounds. I got links in the description. I get a piece. They have no credit check payment plans, so you don't have to use your homeboy CPN. You could just keep that clean, stay legit, fly straight, and get your credit up, So anyway, my DAW journey. All right, so check this out. Started off in Sonar using Reason for making beats, Sonar to lay the vocals down. Did that for many years, then went to New Window when I got my own setup. Then I went to Cubase. Still using Reason to make beats. And then eventually I stepped up to Logic, and it was like a game changer stepping up to Logic. I think it was Logic 7. I think I had Logic 7 and 8, whichever ones came in the box. I still got the manual somewhere. So yeah, I was on that. And then from there, I used Logic for quite a while. It was a machine that made me stop using Logic to make beats, but I was still using it to record. And then I realized that I was much faster in Ableton. And so I started using Ableton, then I got the push, but I didn't like recording in it, so I still used Logic. But I started collaborating with people in Atlanta, in the industry, I'm not too deep into the industry, but basically it was a few people that I was messing with, and they was using Pro Tools. Come to find out, everybody used Pro Tools. So does that make it the industry standard? I thought that's what they meant when they said industry standard. It's just the industry forces you to use this whether you like it or not. That's what I got from it, because it reminded me of when I was in film school, and they said if you want to cut movies, if you want to work in TV, you had to use Avid's other product, which is Media Composer. In school, everybody hated Media Composer. It sucked because you couldn't drag and drop stuff. You had to use nothing but key commands. So you had to know the key. You had to know the keys. So it wasn't user friendly like Final Cut. Anyway, let me get back to my DAW journey. So I started working with other people. So I started using Pro Tools. Then after that, I was testing out Studio One. Studio One, super dope. So I ended up starting using Pro Tools because other people were using it, but I also seen how fast it was with the audio editing once you set up a template, because I just don't like the way everything works in Pro Tools when you're setting things up. You have to basically know how to route things and know the key commands in order to route multiple tracks to one aux at once. And I believe that Shift Alt with something like Logic, I believe you just highlight all of the tracks, and then it's a key command to group everything into a bus, or you can right click and do it. Same thing in Ableton, same thing in Studio One. So Pro Tools does make it more complicated to do that. But as somebody who wants to come in and record to a template that's already set up, I find it real easy for me to actually navigate the program, trim the ends of different takes, edit the audio. The clip gain is dope, and I start leveling things out on the fly. Now let me talk about the different ways that it compares to the other different programs, and I'll tell you about the program that I'm going to be using, which is this one right here. I'll talk about it in a second, but this is the one that I'm going to primarily be using for my vocals. let's talk about Logic, right? Logic is dope for making beats. It's dope for recording too, and I love the what do you call it? The comping. The comping is superior to me in Logic than it is in Pro Tools. Because Pro Tools has that playlisting thing, but you gotta have the and it works. It's fine, but it's not as smooth as Logic, where you just swipe in the different phrases and it just comes together so smoothly. It's just so user friendly. So I like that. I also like the fact that it just seems to, I'm able to route everything more easy, and I'm also able to make beats and record vocals all in the same DAW all at once. One thing I don't like about Logic, and the reason that I kind of went to Pro Tools, it's just some simple stuff like trimming the ends of the audio. I have this like OCD thing about the ends of the different audio clips, and I want to make sure that they like are trimmed, you know, as I go along, so I don't have to do them later. So I do them really quick in Pro Tools. But in Logic, it's like I always forget the key command, and then I always end up just, it's like multiple multiple keys and everything like that. So I end up not doing it, and then I have to do it later. So I don't like that workflow. Also, the clip gain, they just now got clip gain where you could do it on the individual regions instead of going to the way to the left, the top left to change the gain. Now that they do have clip gain, where you can just use a tool to do it, the thing I don't like is that you have to use that tool, you know? I want it to just automatically change to the clip gain, so I could just turn down the thing real quick and keep going. Those are the main things I care about actually when I'm recording, you know? And I'm always gonna, and by the way, I didn't say this, but I'm always gonna produce in Ableton, you know, for the most part. Like, of course, I use Logic sometimes. I haven't ever made a beat in Studio One yet, but Ableton is just it for me, you know? Ableton and MPC. So I'm using Ableton most of the time, 85% of the time, and then I use that MPC behind me right here. This is the MPC Live 2. So I use those things to make beats, so I just need a good program to record vocals. And Pro Tools really is a good program to record vocals in, once everything is set up. But I will say that Logic is more user-friendly. Like all the rest of them more user-friendly than Pro Tools. So let's talk about Studio One. Now, Studio One, I was able to set it up kind of like Pro Tools, because the best thing about Studio One is that you could change the key commands to whatever you want. You have like so much flexibility. I also like the fact that the clip gain is right there on the actual wave, so I can just change it right there, just like Pro Tools. And it also has like the easy routing of like a Logic. What's cool about Studio One is that you can search for your plugins. I think Logic might have that now, I'm not sure, but you can search for your plugins, makes it way faster. Pro Tools, you could do it too. It's still a little clunky. You know, you always got to do an extra step in Pro Tools, but you could do it in Pro Tools. The thing I like about Studio One is that it kind of combines everything that I like about Pro Tools and everything I like about Logic together in one. So Studio One should be the perfect one for me, right? Well, the one that actually got my focus right now is Luna. Luna is very, very good. For one, it uses all of the key commands that I'm used to from Pro Tools, but also has the flexibility, the user friendliness of the other newer programs. And the menu is just like how it is in the UAD console, so I'm used to that. The best thing about it is that I can use it with the Apollo and get that low latency, and I could record without console. I could just use Luna. And also I got all of the extensions. So I got the Neve console is emulating like a Neve desk, and it makes everything actually have a sound. People always say that Pro Tools has that sound, but things sound pretty much the same to me in different programs. But Luna sounds completely different. It has that organic sound. So I really like that. Of course, you could do the clip gain right on the wave. I love that. I'm trying to think. It's missing a couple things, but that's the only reason I haven't abandoned Pro Tools completely, and because I still have projects in Pro Tools that I gotta finish, and it's hard to just stop using something when you get all that going on in there. Once Luna is where I really want it to be, I could see myself like phasing out Pro Tools. I still love using Studio One, so I'm gonna continue to use Studio One and Logic as well. But I feel like for when I want to like just record my vocals and I want a dope mixing environment, I want it to sound amazing, Luna is just winning on all levels, you know? So it's Luna for me for now and for the foreseeable future. So that's it. I just wanted to give my POV on the situation. If you want me to go do a deep dive in Luna and show you why I like this program, just let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, and all that, and I'll be back with another one. All right? One.